years ago, quit the day job and started building websites with my buddy, roommate from college and friend from high school. So this is like 2000, 2001. Right away, I realized I had to figure out not just how to build the sites for them. I was the designer, he was the programmer, but how to get results. So I jumped right into SEO right before Google finished winning the battle to become the dominant search engine. I needed to learn measurement, so I started doing analytics back when we spelled it with a lowercase a. When analytics is spelled with a lowercase a, it's a category of product, right? It's like Google Trends, and there were lots of other things at the time. When it's a capital A, it's a Google product. So I've been doing analytics and SEO for 20 years. The last 12 years, I've done lots of content strategy, blogging, social media, email marketing, all this stuff kind of converged into content. So our company is built on a 100% inbound strategy. There are 40 of us full-time with a top line of just what will be 6 million this year in revenue. 100% based on an approach to content that I teach it through videos and my blog and at schools and at conferences all over. But I just met Tyler at Social Media Marketing World, which is an event I spoke at for the last 6 years. And I'm going to do, he saw me teach some analytics, and I'm excited to share that with you guys this morning. Okay, one of my favorite topics, rolling up my sleeves. So beautiful sunny day here in Chicago. Family's happy and healthy. And this is a crash course in some content performance measurement using Google Analytics. But I want to start with the top line. In case it wasn't obvious, Google Analytics works differently than the old school log analyzers, which was how we did it back in the day. A visitor visits website has JavaScript tracking code, which gets triggered and then reads from and writes to 5 separate cookies on that device. Depending on what it finds, it reports back to Google data servers, which are floating in space above us. Probably not, but I like to picture them that way. And then when you log into Google Analytics, you get to see that data through these lovely reports and this beautiful UX that makes analysis pretty easy. So it's totally based on JavaScript and cookies, which is the internet equivalent of duct tape. Like, it's super weird that it works at all. It's an amazing bit of engineering. And there's lots of cases when it doesn't work. In fact, it's safe to say that every number, I'm not even kidding, in your Google Analytics is incorrect. They're all wrong. It automatically underreports everything because not 100% of visitors accept cookies. Not 100% of browsers have JavaScript enabled. There's all kinds of reasons why it doesn't get triggered. It's like, the point is not that it's perfectly accurate. The point is that it's accurate enough to be able to answer questions and take action. That's what I want to emphasize today. It's a decision support tool. It's not about reporting. Reports don't affect your marketing. It's about making decisions and taking action. It's about analysis. I want to use it for analysis. I'm going to give you a bunch of little examples on how to use it for analysis. And I'm going to focus on 2 just like big brush strokes to attract people to a digital property, usually a website, and then to get them to take an action or to engage. So this is, I'm breaking it into 2 steps. And I'm going to use it just straight up, like answering one question after another. And I'm going to start with the more beginner stuff, and I'm going to move on, roll it up into some more advanced, interesting reports. And through it, you're going to learn how to use some of the cooler, more useful features in analytics. Super simple. Which pages get the most traffic? Click, bing, there it is. It's the default sort on the all pages report. If you said, if I was trapped on a desert island and I could only bring 2 Google Analytics reports with me, weird, hypothetical, but bear with me, this would be one of them. Behavior, site content, all pages. By the way, and I'm going to tab out because I can do that because we're live, and I've got an internet connection here. This is how analytics is organized. A, B, C. Let me get out of this weird report dashboard I was working on. Acquisition, behavior, conversion. You see this? A, B, C. Top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. This is basically where you're going to be answering all the questions and doing all the analysis. Where they came from, what they did while they were here, and what percentage of people took action. A, B, C. I'm going to focus on the B here mostly today. Okay, so the all pages report shows you which of your pages are getting the most traffic. Simple. There they are. Takeaway, go work on those pages, improve those pages. These pages are going to give you way better results. These pages are way more important to your marketing than the rest of your website, right? Because, and I'm going to switch to a different view, site content, all pages. If I go over here to the comparison view, these are views. Not everyone uses them. These are views. The default view is like the spreadsheet view. Pie chart view, the bar chart view, comparison view. Do this on your site. You'll find that the top pages on your website are so much more visited than the other pages. There are no straight lines. Everything in digital is like a dramatic exponential curve. So in this case, you'll find on my site, the top page is 12,000% more popular than the average page. That's why I say the takeaway from this is to just go make those better pages. You'll get 12,000% more value than just working on the average page. Which pages are attracting the most visitors? Slightly different question, not getting the most visits, but attracting the most visitors. This is a different report, behavior site content landing pages. This is a report that shows the URLs traffic for which, when that URL is the first page in that person's experience. By the way, a little bit of jargon. Visitors and visits, they're called, in analytics, they're called users and sessions. Same thing. You'll hear me interchange them. Everybody does it. So these are the sessions, basically, right? The visits for which these landing pages were the first page. So what do you do with those? Okay, you found your best cheese. Turn these into better mousetraps by making sure that these pages have good calls to action, guiding people deeper. These pages have good internal linking, that these pages are taking people farther into the website. I've got an example. I'm going to just, if I go back to the all pages report, I'll just go to my home page. It's my sixth most popular it's one of my most popular landing pages, behavior site content landing pages. So it's my sixth most popular landing page. If I go to my home page from the all pages report and click on navigation summary, this is a hidden super valuable report, navigation summary. I don't know why people never click on it. I can see where people went from this page. Top landing pages, then go to navigation summary. Where did they go? If your site isn't guiding people deeper into the parts of the site that you want them to go to, you've got a store with aisles and you're not watching where people flow through your physical location, right? You've got a problem. This is the page right here, this little icon. What percentage of people left? What percentage kept going, and where did they go? So you should be adding navigation, calls to action, internal links that specifically guide people to the places you want them to go. Great. Next level of analysis. Which pages are attracting the most visitors from social media? I use social media because Tyler and I met at a social media conference. You can do this for any traffic source. You can see I'm just making it more interesting, adding one level deeper. Which pages are attracting the most visitors from what? From social media. Now, I want to explain this. Two things, basically just two things in Google Analytics: dimensions and metrics. This is also maybe too basic for some, but this is how it works. This is the mechanics of the tool. The dimension is the first column. The metrics are the next column. Dimension, metrics, dimension, metrics. Everything you see in analytics is either a dimension or a metric, okay? Now, by default, there's just one metric or one dimension on every report. It's basically the name of the report, right? The navigation takes you to different dimensions. You can change the dimension up here at the top, which we'll do in a minute, but also you can add data from other reports to any report by adding a secondary dimension. It's this little drop down. Now, if I go to landing pages and go to a secondary dimension and choose something that indicates the traffic source, such as medium, cool. Now I can see where people came from, right? Like landing page from where. So when I choose medium, and I can find it just by typing, I get all the mediums here, but the mediums are like, what? Wait, organic, where's social media? I'm trying to find which landing pages get the most traffic from social media. So now I need to filter this report to show me just the visitors from social media. To do that, I have to click on I'll do it, let me just do it real time. So I'm gonna go to, where was I? Site content, behavior site content landing pages, secondary dimension, type medium. Cool, medium is the broadest origin of traffic, social is a medium. Social is a medium, Facebook is a source. Organic is a medium, Google is a source, right? Medium is the broader origin of traffic, the big picture. So now if I type to filter something, it's in this box, the filter box will filter for the first column. But I don't want to filter for the first column, I want to filter for the second column. So I have to use an advanced filter. So I click on advanced, and now I can include when what? The green things are dimensions. The blue things are metrics. So I'm going to choose the medium, which is on this report, when it contains social. Here's my answer. Which pages are attracting the most visitors from social media? There they are. Expand to get more of them. Cool. So you can see. So I'm basically answering questions. The report doesn't affect marketing, only actions do. The analysis from that, were those, there they are. Maybe I could put those into, did I just promote those recently? That would explain why they appeared there. Maybe there's stuff in there I did not promote recently. Maybe they're attracting like earned social, like organic, like they're just getting shared a lot. Okay, those are the ones that I should put in heavy social rotation. There's, this is getting, I put this in, or I promoted it in social, but it got tons more traction. Maybe I should boost that post or put some dollars behind that. So you can see. Now, if you ever got value, if you found that interesting, you just did a secondary dimension with an advanced filter, kind of a hassle. If you found insights, I recommend that you go up to save that report. Just build this circuit into your brain. You found an insight in Google Analytics, click save. Found an insight in Google Analytics, click save. That's going to save that report for you, and then you can name it something, for example, top landing pages from social. Now you don't have to leave that browser tab open for the rest of your week because your meeting's on Friday. It's Friday. But the idea is that you don't have to, you can come back to this quickly. It's going to be ready for you up here. Customization, saved reports. Cool. So it's something that, will make analytics more useful to you, incrementally more useful over time, because you've built up, you can jump right to that thing. You don't have to create the secondary dimension and filter it every time. And I'm going to show you another way to get that same bit of insight. Which pages are getting the most visitors from social media? I'm going to do it using a segment. What are segments? Segments are audiences. They're subsets of the total audience. So by default, so let's just do a mini tour. I'm inside Google Analytics. This is, zoom in. So I said ABC, acquisition, behavior, conversion. Here are my main reports. Weirdly, there's this other stuff on top. You'd think these would be on the top. So I can see any given report. I'm looking at landing pages from social. At the very top, there are segments, which few people use, but it's super useful. You'll see in a second. And you can choose any date range, which, by the way, I'm seeing a pretty low date range, low amount of data here. Maybe I want more data. Date range equals data. Also, choosing a longer date range will help you get past a period at which you just did a bunch of social promotion, or you just sent a bunch of emails, or you want to go back to a time. Yeah, look at this. Kind of interesting, actually, already. You can see the spikes over time, like what was getting traction then. Okay, I could drill down to that date range and then just see, what content was performing then. So then below that, so segments, the timeline controller, and then there's the trend line and there's the data. So if I wanted to, let me just remove the filter to see landing page traffic from everything. Another way to do this would be medium, or maybe I just want to see traffic to the home page. Cool. I can click on this checkbox and click plot rows, and now I can see just traffic to the home page. Just drew a separate line in there for me. That's kind of fun. That's useful to me sometimes. But I brought this up because this segment up here is something that not everyone uses, but it is so incredibly useful because you can just choose one type of audience and then see them, just get to them very quickly. So the way that I taught this at Social Media Marketing World, where Tyler and I met, was for social, it's kind of a hassle because in the system segments, there's all kinds of built-in segments. Social is not one of them. So you could create that segment, it would be a hassle, or there's a place where you can grab a bunch of pre-built segments. It's called the Google Analytics Solutions Gallery. So if you import from a gallery, click import from gallery, and you'll find a bunch of cool things that people built, probably to impress each other, including segments, custom reports, and dashboards. So so when you click on import from gallery, you can just search this for social, and there's a pretty nice social media traffic segment built in here. You can see I'm filtering for social. It's a segment. I can click import, and now I've got this. I can choose which view to add it to. I'm going to add it to all my views, or just add it to this view. And now when I come back and click a new segment, I can just search for social, and it's been added. Very useful to just grab things you need from the solutions gallery. But the cool thing about the segment is now if I remove all users, because now I have 2 segments up here, all users and social, click that caret down to remove all users. Now you remove all users and you're just seeing social media traffic for landing pages. Basically the same thing. The numbers won't match. I mentioned earlier, there's like, analytics is just inherently inaccurate, so don't expect this to be a one-to-one with your other report. But segments are a fantastic way to see just one group. I'm using it right here on this report to see landing page traffic from social media. But the beauty of segments is that instead of secondary dimensions, I can click all over inside analytics now and still stay just on social media traffic. I can go to conversion goals. You can see my goal conversion rate just from social media traffic. I can go to mobile and desktop and see just social media traffic. I can go to my acquisition and see audiences, and I mean, whatever you're looking at, this persists throughout your time in Google Analytics. The secondary dimensions and filters are only on that report, right? They're down above that report view. Okay, you get the idea. The next thing that I like to bring up when I talk about attracting visitors is this killer, like most important, like all relevant to 100% of marketers. This is a skill that differentiates the best from the worst from everybody else. If I could be like the greatest in one thing, it might be this, because it is an all-powerful. It's how traffic is generated. It's how you win here. Look at how competitive that is. It's how you win here. Look at how competitive this is. Right? It's how you win here. Look at how competitive this is. I have to compete with Google. It's very hard. So the ability to write great headlines is the fundamental skill of the content strategist, the digital marketer, the ad copywriter, everybody, right? Everybody in marketing. This goes back to like, was it like Leo Burnett or someone said, 80% of your effort should go into the headline. So every time you see a headline, let's be the audience for a second. When you see a headline, you might be in an inbox, you might be in a social stream, you might be in search results. You see the headline and then you do a split-second cost benefit calculation in your brain where you basically are deciding whether or not this clicking is worth 2 seconds of your attention. And after you've done that math, you either click or you keep scanning and scrolling. That's what you do. That's what your audience does. That's what millions of people around the world are doing right now. So it is the moment at which you are manipulating the cost benefit ROI calculation in their brain to try to win the click. So the headline is the game. Now, I could actually argue that there is no such thing as a headline. Headlines are not, what's a headline? There really isn't a headline anymore. There's an H1 tag, there's a title tag, there's an email subject line, there's a social media post, there's titles of videos, there's the header on an infographic, there's lots of things that look like headlines, but technically they're not the same. Technically they don't have the same requirements. It is a mistake for the digital marketer to use the same headline in all locations. Makes no sense. Why would you do that? Some of these things are 100% visitor psychology. Some of these things are 50% about triggering a robot to help you rank. So some of these things have character limits. Some of these things do not. Anyway, so hopefully your website allows you, and content marketing allows you to write long headlines because you can get really specific with benefits. Title tags, you have to indicate relevance and use the target key phrase. I already mentioned I'm an SEO. You have a 60 character limit. Email subject lines, you've got to front load it with the most compelling words. We'll get into it. And you have these slides, and this is being recorded anyway, so come back if you want to go deeper. I can share an article that has tons of insights into headlines. Okay, my obsession is, or a simple way to think about this is to differentiate between search versus social, because they're opposites. Long form content works in search, compelling visuals works in social. Content that answers questions works in search, that's why they went to search. Content that triggers emotion tends to work in social. Content that meets expectations tends to work in search, right? Content that is a little bit unexpected works in social, right? This would be like, mountain biking safety tips. This would be like 5 injury photos you can't unsee. I made that up, but both of those would work super well in those channels. One of those will not, no one's searching for injury photos, hopefully. That'd be weird. And no one on social is likely to be interested in that very moment at like mountain biking safety, right? They're going about, they're waiting for a train, or that's it's all about understanding ultimately that the visitor in search is busy and the visitor in social is bored. If you don't get that, you're gonna have you're gonna struggle in these channels. Really, and think about paid. They're exact opposites in paid. If you know in search, paid search, you know everything about what they're thinking because they typed it into a box, their hands on a keyboard, but you don't know who they are at all. You can't target them based on who they are. You don't know who they are. In social, you know everything about who they are, but you don't know anything about what they're thinking. So the skill of the content strategist is to look at a topic, look at a headline, even to look at a business. You can look at a business and tell ultimately whether that company is going to have better traction in search or social. I know a woman who invented this, like her company makes a exercise bike that goes under your desk, like you pedal while you work. I don't even know what that's called. Like no one's looking for that. That's not where you're going to get success, right? That's not going to work for you in search. On the other hand, try. What about like I have another client that does that. They're like pest exterminators, bed bugs. Nobody's going to share like bed bug tips, right? That's never going to work in social. That's only going to work in search. The person who thinks they have bed bugs goes to Google in less than 2 seconds, right, to find help. Like, so anyway, you can look at headlines, you can look at topics, you can look at even business models and service offerings, right, products, and tell whether that thing's going to work in search or social. I'm going to show you a few where I have analytics for them. I made this a quiz. I'll just blast through it now. 7 habits of highly effective marketers did not work in search because no one's searching for that. It's not keyword focused. How would that ever get discovered in search? You know, it's a reference to the title of a book. It's not like people are searching for like effective marketer habits. No one's looking for that. So that worked, but it worked great in social. Web design standards. That's not a thumb stopper. That's not going to stop this person from scrolling, right? But it worked great in search because it answers a big question. If you want to know about web design standards, this article is for you. But someone on social media is just not likely to be that interested in web design standards today. That'd be weird. The life-changing magic of deleting old content. Okay, there's like an SEO tactic. It's a hypothesis. If you delete a bunch of old stuff, your good stuff will rank higher. Nobody's looking for that, but it worked great in social media because I made it a big roundup. It's also like a culture reference to, my wife likes that show, Marie Kondo, the throw your stuff away lady. Future-proof your search rankings, 5 tips for semantic SEO. That actually was trying to be a combo, but in the end it worked way better in search because it ranks for semantic SEO. So anyway, I saw one this morning. Obviously, we all know what the major news is right now. It was like 9 diagrams that explain everything you need to know about coronavirus. Perfect, right? I stopped, I clicked, I read. It was like in a stream. I wasn't searching for coronavirus diagrams. But the click-through rate has to be high on that because it was like indicating that's visual content. Like, oh, I can consume this quickly. It had a number in it. Oh, there's 9 of them. I might not like 3, but maybe I'll like the other 6. Like, it was the perfect headline for the day. Like, it just it's on Vox. It's probably getting huge traffic, and I highly recommend it. Actually, it's a good piece. I'll be sharing it later today. Data and headlines affect sharing. Research shows that super long headlines get way more sharing. Anyone here? I can't see you, but Tyler, anyone raising their hand? Who's written a 15-word? Anyone ever write 15-word headlines? Most do not. It feels weird. They're like 3-sentence headlines. But they're crushing it. There's tons of research on this. I'm like the type of nerd that's always consuming research content on content performance. Here's what a 15-word headline looks like. This might even be like 17. What's a good bounce rate? ? We asked 500 plus analytics accounts, period. Here's the average bounce rate for websites, period. It's like 3 sentences. That's what's working. Working really, really well. Also working well is Steve Rayson found this, the BuzzSumo founder. He's exited that company, but he's like a stats guy and did fantastic research for the 3 or so years he was in the game. I love this because Will Make You has a ridiculous high correlation with huge social engagement numbers. I'm not cynical about these. I think there's something to learn from these. Some of these are ridiculous clickbait and we can ignore them. But if you write a headline that has those 3 words, will make you, you automatically are writing a benefit-driven headline. You really can't write a headline that uses the phrase will make you without focusing on the what's in it for them, without giving them some reason to, you could be will make you laugh, will make you smile, but it also could be, will make you a better bike mechanic. That's a benefit, right? You're actually, and that's the point of content, is to make people better versions of themselves, right? That's why we're working so hard. It's a giant contest of generosity. Every content marketer is trying to get their best advice out of their brain onto the internet. The company that does it the best, the person that does it the best wins. Lots of traffic, lots of trust, lots of chance to convert. Different topic, conversion optimization, different topic. But this is, the idea here is that we are giving benefit to our readers, our audience, and that's what this this headline basically forces you to do. I'll give you these slides, of course, or you may already have them, but this is a pile of the rest of his research. So Will Make You also works in Twitter, numbers for the first time. This is what X reasons why. This is the specificity. These also create a curiosity gap. This is what the most, this is what it looks like to whitewater raft down these indicate kind of, can trigger curiosity. Ending the trigrams that end headlines, and then I have a joke slide where I combine them all. It's obviously silly. I don't even know what that article would look like. Hypothetically, that'd be the greatest headline of all time. We do a survey every year of 1,000 bloggers, and we ask them how many headlines they write in draft before choosing one, knowing, of course, that there isn't one, just one headline. But there's a tiny percentage of bloggers that write tons and tons of headlines. Like 1% of bloggers write 20 plus headlines. And then we also ask bloggers if they get strong results from digital. And we don't define strong results because bloggers have all different goals. So it's every year, I've done this survey for like 6 years, and I get skewered in the comments every year because it's like, what does strong results mean? Okay, I realize that there's, I left that vague. It's subjective, it's self-reported, but how can I define that for people? But when I do ask that question, look at the correlation. The bloggers who are crushing it by their own standards are the ones who write way more headlines. There's like a direct line correlation between the number of headlines you write and the number of headlines you consider and your results. So go big on this, guys. Write super specific benefits, write headlines that keep them guessing, use unexpected or emotional words, write a headline with a number or a statistic. You take that list, steal that list, and write at least a couple that use a trigram or 2. Write a headline with the key phrase first, right? Be search focused. Write super long headlines. And then if you're doing social media marketing or you got a social media team, you wrote 12 possible headlines for this piece. The rejects are very useful anyway, because there's going to be a social media team that's got to come up with social posts anyway. So nothing gets wasted. Okay, back to analytics. We send an email, we send a post, right? When we create a post, what are the results? Oh, sorry, Tyler, I didn't change this template. It's still in the social media marketing world. Very expensive. Huh?
I'll edit it later.
Yeah, you guys are saving a ton of money by not going to San Diego and going to that conference. So you're getting the same content here. Okay, social engagement, website engagement, shares, likes, comments, click-through rate is all you get in social from your whatever Facebook analytics or whatever you're using, but it doesn't connect the dot to conversion rate or website engagement. Email, delivery, open, click-through rate. It doesn't connect the dot by default. Analytics does not know that email that you sent got that bounce rate, time on page, or conversion rate. If you don't use campaign tracking, your email visitors are just mixed into everything else. Where I could be amazing email marketer. Email could be my most important channel. Where are they? Well, if the person clicked on the email from Outlook, they came from a piece of software, they are categorized as direct. If the person clicked on the email from Gmail, they're in a browser, they're categorized as referral. Social traffic means visitor came from social media network. Organic search means the person came from a search engine. Referral means they came from a non-search, non-social website. Direct means they typed in the web address to the browser directly, or they had it bookmarked, or they had it in their browsing history, or they came from a source for which there was no referral data, such as an app, such as here, look at this link. If I share this PowerPoint with you and you click on this link, you came from PowerPoint. If I didn't put campaign tracking code on this, you're going to show up as a direct visitor. So the fix, the glue, the duct tape, again, it's like duct tape, the way that we have to solve these problems. And to get the person to show up as a separate traffic source, this is the default channel grouping report with pie chart view, we have to add campaign tracking code. It looks like this. I'm going to send an email. My email has links to my website. Only matters when they go to my website. This is like how to find your branded keywords. This is a really valuable, simple tactic that I recommend. People who, when they search for your brand, what are they searching for? What are all the suggested phrases that Google suggests when they search for your brand? So here, and what to do about it. So this is a link that goes to my article. My newsletter is nothing more than an invitation to read an article. Obviously, that's the most common strategy in email marketing. So then they land on the page. Cool. How does analytics know that that's where they came from? Well, I added a whole bunch of tracking code up there at the top. That's how analytics knows where they came from. Tyler, can you show of hands, anyone here already using campaign tracking code for email and social and paid traffic?
Maybe half the room, a little more than half.
Half? Okay, good. I'll speed up. Put the link that you're driving traffic to in the URL builder. There's lots of URL builders. We built one. There's tons of them out there. You can find ours here. All it does is allow you to enter in a source, a medium, and a campaign name. And then it appends to the end of the link campaign parameters. The first parameter is escaped or is separated by a question mark. Question mark. UTM source equals. Subsequent parameters are separated by ampersands. UTM source equals, UTM medium equals, UTM campaign equals. Again, the medium is this broadest origin of traffic, the source is the specific origin of traffic, and the campaign name is whatever you want it to be able to look at those people separately. In our campaign, in our report, we actually have a little preview of what that will look like in your Google Analytics at the bottom. It's kind of fun. We had our developers make one. Ours also, by the way, forces lowercase because it's case sensitive. If you put spring sale if you type newsletter with a lowercase n and your coworker types it with a capital N, you'll show up as separate sources in analytics. Super annoying. Here are standards, here are conventions for campaign tracking code. Medium, you could do cost per click. That just indicates advertising. Source, you could put the branded thing, like it came from a Facebook ad. Campaign name might be a spring sale. Here's an email newsletter. Medium, email. Source, MailChimp. Campaign name, April newsletter. This is a Twitter campaign, cost per 1,000. Twitter, event registration. Now when you go into Google Analytics under the all campaigns report, you're going to get campaign data and you can see all these people separately. This is what campaign traffic looks. Here, I'm going to do it live in 1 second. So this is the all campaign report, all the campaign names. And now I can connect that dot. Here's the traffic from each of these campaigns. Here's the conversion rate, the percentage of people who took action. This is another example where you might find it useful to create a secondary dimension. I do it all the time. So I'm in acquisition, which is where they came from. Obviously, campaign reports are here. Acquisition campaigns, all campaigns. Some campaigns are paid. We don't do paid, but a lot of people do. Some campaigns are social. Some campaigns are email. So when I come in here to this report, it's going to show me all of my campaigns all together. Okay, that's social. That's a newsletter. That's a newsletter. That's some other newsletter. Someone included us in their newsletter. So this is a really useful one to add a secondary dimension, such as source medium. Source medium is like a combo. And I'm going to see them all here at once. Cool. Oh, wow. That's co-schedule is broken up to my Twitter and my LinkedIn. Interesting. Average bounce rate was an email. Which email? It was that the source was a February newsletter. So what if I just want to see, I don't want to see any of this. Oh, what is that? That's a campaign someone maybe miscategorized. So I want to see just emails in here. Cool. I want to I want to filter for this column. The filter box by default just filters for the first column. I want to filter for the second column. So I'm going to add an advanced filter to include where source medium contains email. Voila. Here is the performance of every email I've sent. Look, now it's just the emails. Super spiky. Now, I can answer questions such as, let me pan out a little bit. Which of my email campaigns had the highest time on page? Or session duration. Here you go. Look, this one was 2 minutes. This one was 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Wow. This one was 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes. Great. Which ones had the highest conversion rate for all goals? Okay, this one had a conversion rate of more than 1%. Wow. Thanks, Maz. This one's conversion rate was 1%. This one was 3%. I should send this email again. For sure, I should be sending that email again. Low. So all that MailChimp would, or whatever you use, I use ActiveCampaign, whatever all your ESP, email service provider, would show you is the open, click-through, and delivery, open, and click-through rate. But these are dramatically different impact on the back end. Okay, you get the idea. That all make sense to you guys? Tyler, do these people look confused or excited or bored?
I think everyone's pretty engaged.
Good. Warning, never add campaign tracking code to an internal link. If you link from one of your pages to another one of your pages, clicking that link will overwrite the actual source of that visitor. It is not meant for internal linking. I've seen people put bit.ly links on their own site to track the clicks from one call to action to another page. That's crazy. Don't try to track something with a tool if it's tracked already in Google Analytics. So you can see, we already did it. From the navigation summary, you can see the flow from people from page to page. What's the click-through rate from this page to that page? It was in the navigation summary, we saw it. So you don't ever need, you should never add campaign tracking to other things. It's fun to use like this. Like if I send someone an email, like I'm just gonna, my email program. My email has a link. Check out the latest tips from Orbit. Cool. I want to see if anybody's clicking on this link. Oh, good news. I added campaign tracking code to that. The campaign name is email sign. Okay. I added this maybe a year ago. Has anyone ever clicked on this link in my email signature? Totally answerable. I'm going to go to all campaigns. I don't need source medium. I know the campaign name. I'm going to go to the last year, January 1 to, we'll do to present, who cares? And then I don't want to see all my campaigns. I just want to see that one. Paste in my campaign name. And the answer is 349 people have clicked on the link in my email signature. So I've gotten 12 conversions from my email signature. Took me 5 seconds to make that, and now I can actually measure that performance, right? Okay, we're just gonna move on. So you get the idea. You can campaign track anything as long as it's a campaign is a specific effort to drive traffic to your website from another source. So you track that stuff, or else your analytics is just inaccurate, or is less accurate than it could be. I did an article called How to Set Up Google Analytics. It goes into deep detail on many topics, including how to set up goals, how to set up filters, how to exclude robots, how to track campaigns. If you search for how to set up Google Analytics, it's like the 3rd or 4th post. In this example, I could see which of my campaigns were underperformers on engagement metrics. As in, you can see crickets from those. You're hearing crickets because nothing happened, and then you can go improve those. If it's an email, here's my tip for email subject lines: is to front load your email subject line with the most compelling words, like unexpected words or emotional words or specific benefits. This is in this fun little mock-up I made. 10 simple communication tips that what's in it for me? Why should I care? Oh, it got truncated. The mobile inbox gives you like 40 to 45 characters for the email subject. That's not a lot. So ace your job interview is the reason why someone would click on this, but I put it at the end. That's going to be a problem. You could test this yourself. Try this, how to ace your job interview with these. Okay, now I'm more likely to click because the what's in it for me is at the beginning. Whatever is the most compelling part of the subject line, make sure it's in the beginning of the subject line. This is the only way that you can improve subject lines. This is all you get. You get the sender name, you get the subject line, and you get the pre-header text. Except for deliverability and timing, this is what the creative can do to maximize email open rates. Immediate, one of my most reliable wins is to suggest to clients that they put a human's name into their email sender name. The sender name as a human is sometimes gets you like a 20% lift in open rates just automatically. Also reduces unsubs because it's harder to unsubscribe from an email if it comes from a person. The most human brand wins. If you haven't read it yet, read Mark Schaefer's Marketing Revolution. Fantastic book that lays it out. It's kind of obvious when you read it. It's like, of course, why wasn't I, being more personal? Moving right along, making pretty good time. We're going to now do a better job of engaging visitors. I did it already. How is your navigation performing? Click on the page. That's called drilling down. When you click on a dimension in the primary dimensions column, that's called drilling down. So drill down to a page from your all pages report, and then go to the navigation summary, and you can see how people go through page to page. Okay, I'm not going to show. Maybe I can just try one. I'm going to do this real quick for a client site. They won't mind. Not that one. They are here maybe. If I can't find them fast, I'll skip this. But I did an analytics review. We have like 400 current clients, and I did an analytics review for. Check this out. Okay, insurance company. It's not relevant as a category to you guys, but it's just an example of website analysis. This is their site. This is their homepage. They've got their big categories here. They're repeated again down here. You got industry, events. There's a client login. And then drop down. How well is this stuff performing? Okay, I'm going to find out. I'm going to measure the performance of the homepage navigation by going from behavior, site content, all pages to the homepage. Click to drill down to the homepage. Get the same report, but with just one row. We'll use this. I don't know. I'll go to January 1st. Then I'm going to go to the navigation summary. And I want to see what the top click is from the homepage. You guys should all know this by heart. What is the most popular click from your homepage? Everyone should know that. The number one click on their homepage by quite a bit is the team page. The team page, where is that? This is real-time, real-life data, real example, actual analytics report from today. I'm not even kidding. This is not like some bizarre, unusual case study. Where is the team page? Where's the number one click on this website? It's here. The smallest, least prominent, bottom of the visual hierarchy navigation item is the number one click. Takeaways, analysis. People want to see your people. So put the team in the main nav, in the secondary navigation, or maybe make team one of these things, or maybe just feature team members. Make these 4 different team members so that people want to know who they're going to work with. It's not weird at all. I'm never surprised to find out that the way that the site was designed, right? We designed that website, is not how the site's being used. Yeah, kids are going to love this playground equipment we made. Look at this fun curvy slide. Kids will eat it up. No, they won't. They're going to do what they want to do. They're going to ignore that thing you made and play the way they want to play. So it's common. Look at your navigation summary. Are there little things that get clicked a lot? Are there big buttons that never get clicked? Are your calls to action effective? That's an important question, right? We're answering that. Are your calls to action effective? What gets clicked the most in the main navigation? What never gets clicked in the main navigation? These are ways in which we answers that we should be able to answers we should have. So rename them, remove them, change them. These are important. And every time you take something away, by the way, so let's say you've got your navigation's got 55 things and 80% of your visitors click on these 3. Just take other things that aren't being used away and you'll have a better user experience. Everything that you remove makes everything that's left easier to find. It takes discipline. it's easy for marketing teams to keep adding more crap to their sites. That's why sites get rusty and old and need to be redesigned, is because people don't have the discipline to remove something before they add something else. This has been actually the real focus of my career has been on website planning. And you just look at these things and you can tell like there was a committee behind that project. So to have the courage to narrow the options for your audience to help them get what they came for. It's not really about you as much as it's about meeting their information needs. How are we doing, guys?
Awesome.
Okay. Formatting. People don't read. You can check out the study. Average reading speed, average words per page, average time on page will help you calculate the likelihood that people will read. People read maybe 20% of words on pages, which is why this is death on the internet. This is a problem. Never, never, never create content like this. Short paragraphs get read, long paragraphs get skipped, and very long paragraphs get skimmed, and long paragraphs just people won't read them. So my suggestion to you here to improve, this is my number one, like headlines was my best tip to improve traffic. My best tip to improve engagement, which was the other focus of this presentation, analytics to improve engagement. So I'm stepping out of analytics and giving you guys just like the biggest picture, best like takeaway that I know to improve website engagement is formatting. Watch me scroll through this page. Look at the formatting of the page. Look at the white space. Look at the line length. Look at the headers and subheaders. As soon as one picture disappears, the next picture appears. I am making sure that there is no scroll depth at which there isn't at least one thing of visual interest. Not just is there an interesting picture on every page, but there should be some visual interest at every scroll depth. So short lines, literally, like look at how many, subheaders, bullets, bolding, multiple images, internal linking, italics, anything that you can do that will, contributor quotes, faces, charts, diagrams. So I try really hard. Here's another way to think about it. Text is a desert and images are like water, so give your readers a sip. You should be thinking as you write, as you create content, as you design pages, as you build digital experiences. I'm going too long here. I got to give come up for air here a little bit, give them some visuals. So yeah, I try really, really hard to write short words, short sentences, and short paragraphs. On the other hand, I never try to write a short article. Why? Because my goal is to make every page the best page on the internet for the topic. Long content performs better. This is just you could do this for yourself. This is like a scatter plot chart with a trend line showing the correlation between content length and time on page. It was tedious. It took me probably 20 minutes. I just copied my top 50 pages out of analytics into a Google sheet and plotted the chart showing time on page and number of words and the correlation. This line would not be going up into the right if people truly had attention spans of goldfish, right? Don't stop blaming the goldfish. People want detailed information. And when they're done reading, they'll just stop reading. On the other hand, if you stop giving them information, then you like hung up the phone, like you quit giving them more content. So our study also shows the length of a typical article. I'm getting alarming messages from my mom about World Health. This is so there is like a 50% increase in the length of content over the last 6 years. We asked people how long their articles are, and it keeps going up. And I take away this Jerry Seinfeld quote. There is no such thing as attention span. It's only the quality of what you are viewing. People have an infinite attention span if you're entertaining them. That's enough said. I get trapped in this with my wife. Anyone recognize this show? You know what that is, right? Have you seen this? Exactly, the Great British Baking Show. So I've been home when this has gone. There's been like 2.5-hour marathons of this. I call it Game of Scones. It just goes on and on. You could watch this all day long. It's like there wouldn't be such a thing as binge watching if people had the attention span of goldfish. So that's my final case for writing giving people more in-depth experiences. Okay, moving right along. This is, even if you're not a content marketer, even if you've got you're not doing anything on social or email or search, or you're not publishing or helping or making videos or doing anything like that, anyone can do this. It's a way to use analytics to check to see if your website is broken or if there's broken links. Example, if I just go to website.com/blah, blah, 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 I can see, I go to a page not found. Page not found almost always has the same title. The URL is always different, but the title is always the same. So if you go to look at your all pages report and switch the primary dimension to page title, and then go to the page not found, right? I just search to find it. You can see how many times the page not found page has appeared to people. And then if you click to drill down on that, just click it, you'll see the pages, the URLs of the page not found pages. This is in 5 seconds. It's like crashalytics, they used to call it, right? Like what's broken. You're gonna find out what broken links are to your website. So here's an example. Oh wow, I've got someone's linking to this. Wait, my bio isn't at that page. That's like an old URL. How are people getting to that? My current bio is at like /team or something like that. So when you go from there, I click to drill down again, and I can see the source, or I added source medium to this, or I drilled down one or the other. I think I added a secondary dimension of source medium, and I can see, oh, interesting. It's coming from that website. It's a referral link from this digital commerce website. Okay, easy. All I have to do is find the editor and ask them to update the link. If I can't find the editor, my fallback is to create a 301 redirect to go from that to the new page. So there are people who have tons of I've seen sites with 100 visits a day to their page not found, and they have no idea, right? Again, it's like if your site with a physical store and there was like a door that was locked or broken and 100 people a day tried to open it, you'd see them do that and go fix that door. But websites are not as transparent, right? You can't see the activity of your visitors unless you go look for it. And so this is one that probably, I don't know, if maybe create this report and see if there's you could create an alert to have you notified if there's a spike in traffic to page not found. Google will email you to let you know. Ask me later, I could show you that, or you can find it. It's just setting up an alert. Okay, I'm going to do some, with the time left, I'm going to go on a deeper dive into some more some fancier stuff. So those of you who are like, kind of bored by this, you are hoping for something more, more detailed, here's what I've got for you. I'm going to use Google Tag Manager to set up event tracking to track performance on a non-page view interaction. Google by default is tracking page views. Visitor goes from page A to page B. The navigation summary, right? The campaign reports, time on page, pages per visit. Google Analytics is a piece of JavaScript that gets triggered when a page loads. It only knows what happens when a page loads. Visitor goes from page to page. If the visitor just sees one page, the JavaScript is only triggered once, and Google doesn't even know how long they were on that page. In case you didn't know that, Google only knows time on page for visitors if there wasn't a bounce, if they went to a second page. So Google tracks page view interactions. The fix for that is yet more duct tape, which is called event tracking. It's for tracking non-page view interactions. For example, someone interacts with a carousel. Next, next, back. Someone clicks jump links to jump down farther on a page. Somebody clicks on a drop-down menu, clicks to go to another website to buy, clicks on share icons, switches the colors, expands the image, watches a movie, expands these content areas, clicks on tabs, interacts with the map, downloads a PDF file or a Google Doc. Somebody clicks to email you, someone interacts with chat, someone leaves a comment, someone scrolls. None of these things are tracked in Google Analytics because they're all non-page view interactions. They're all happening on the page itself. So this is a giant list of clicks that don't count by default in Google Analytics. And the fix for this is to set up event tracking. I'm going to do it for one type of click, an easy one to track because it's built into Google Tag Manager. I'm going to track video views. So here's a video on a page. I want to check to see if people are clicking on that video. You see the play button in the middle there? This is an article I wrote about how to rank higher in Google in 5 minutes. That actually is not an overpromise. It's a amazing tactic I do in different presentations. It's the lowest hanging fruit for SEO is to find the pages that almost rank high. This is how to use analytics to find the pages that almost rank high. So it's kind of a detailed thing. So I made a video to go with it. So if in Google Tag Manager, I'm going to track that now with event tracking. Tag Manager, if you didn't know, is a way to manage all of the marketing tracking codes on your website. Think of marketing tracking codes, usually JavaScript, but sometimes things like Facebook pixels. Think of those as tags. We used to put tags on our websites by setting it to a programmer, having them add it, or by downloading like a WordPress plugin and trying to add it that way. That's the past. Now we put all of our tags into one tool, a tag management tool, and the Google's tag management tool is called Google Tag Manager. It's not the only one, but it crushed the others by being good enough, and it's free. So GTM. In Google Tag Manager, you can do fancier things than just manage tags. You can also set up events, decide when tags take action, when tags are triggered. So there's tags in here and there's triggers in here. The way to set them up is with variables. And so the first thing we have to do is to set up variables. So go to GTM, assuming it's on your site. If it's not this one, you probably do need a developer or a WordPress plugin to make sure you've got Tag Manager on your site. But once it's on your site, you're going to put all of your marketing tags back into it, remove them from the other places they were, then click to enable the variables. We're in variables. Click configure. Video variables are now built in. This is like the last year or two. Turn them all on. Won't hurt to turn them all on. Now we're going to make a trigger. When is this tag going to fire? When is it going to take action? We're going to make a trigger for it. So go to triggers and click new. I'm going to give mine a name like YouTube video. This is going to be for YouTube videos first. If you're using Vimeo or Vidler or something else, Vidyard, you can't use this same mechanism. You need an extra step, which I'm not going to cover now, but give your tag a meaningful name like YouTube. If you're using YouTube, it's super simple. And this is a built-in trigger, YouTube video. So just click YouTube video. Now you're going to configure the trigger by telling it when you want it to take action. Just turn them all on. Start, complete, pause, seek, buffer, progress, percentages. This will fire the tag at different degrees of completion. Click to, this won't hurt. You might need it, even if you don't, probably turn it on. Add JavaScript API. And then this trigger gets enabled on DOM ready, which means it's going to start listening to get triggered when the website has loaded in the browser to the point where the data layer, the memory ability of the browser is taking effect. Don't worry about it. Just leave it as DOM ready. So now we save the trigger. Then we make a tag. Go to tags and click new. And the tag is going to be called, good naming conventions are important because you're not going to, this tag manager account is going to outlive you at this company. So give it something meaningful like Google Analytics tag. What kind? Event Google Analytics tag. For what? YouTube. GA event YouTube. So that's going to be Universal Analytics. Hopefully you're already using that. The next version of analytics is right behind us here, coming up soon. And then it's going to be event tracking. Events have three things, always have three things: categories, actions, and labels. Category, I'm just naming it something like video view, call it whatever you want. The action and label are going to be the variables that you already set up. So you can click on the Lego and just choose video title, for example. Click on the Lego and choose video status, for example. So these are going to be, I'm not using value, but that's where you could track other things. You could make any of those variables. Non-interaction hit true is a way for you to keep this event from affecting your bounce rate. By default, that says false. A bounce is not a one-page visit. A bounce is a one-hit visit, technically a one-hit session. A bounce is a one-hit session, and a hit could be a page loading. A hit could be an event firing. A hit is anytime data is sent to Google Analytics. So if you create a new event and you leave non-interaction hit to false, then that is going to be considered an interaction hit. In other words, when that event gets triggered, it's going to tell Google Analytics that something happened, and then therefore, the page loading plus the event is two interactions, and that's not a bounce. So you'll be changing your bounce rate forever, your overall website bounce rate, unless you change this to true. Anyway, we've got a big piece of research. By the way, we just finished a piece of research. Oh, I've got it here. The average bounce rate for websites is 61%. We have access to hundreds of analytics accounts, and I looked it up. We had a VA look at them all and copy and build the spreadsheet. So I've got a report now that shows you the average website bounce rate by industry, by traffic source, for e-commerce, for other websites. Find me on LinkedIn or ask me drop me a line and I'll send it to you. So we connect the tag to the trigger, save the tag, and submit the container. GTM container contains all these tags. It goes back. We put it back into the website. So now we can see when people play that. Okay, that really only took a minute. I explained a bunch of stuff during that process, but now you can see when people click that to play. So now we can really analyze these people, and I'm going to make a segment now to see those people separately. Click to add a segment. That segment is click to add a new segment. What kind of segment? It's a conditional segment. What's the condition? I'm going to do it for sessions. You can make segments for sessions or users. I'll leave it as segments, sessions. I'm going to make this segment video watchers, which includes when the event category contains video view. It reads like English. The event category contains video view. And show me just that segment. That's less than 1% of my visitors watch a YouTube video. I'm going to make another one, video no watchers. I wanted the word video to be at the front so I can scan through an alphabetical list of segments. To exclude when the event category contains video view. That's the other 99% of visitors. Look, it's not exact. It doesn't add up to 100. I'm not surprised. Close enough. So now when I go to look at a page, I'm looking at landing pages. I picked a page called Improve Google Rankings. I'm looking at that specific page. I've drilled down to that landing page from the landing page report. Here they are. Video watchers and video no watchers. 10%, this is analysis that is impossible without having created that event and without having made that segment. 10% of people watch. They are 20% less likely to bounce. The average, they spend 3.5 times more time on the page, and they are 350% more likely to convert. Let's say I'm working at a brand and I want budget for video. Great, now I've got the data, right? Let's say I'm a solopreneur and I'm considering hiring a videographer, right? Let's say I've got my, I've got content, some of it performing well, some of it doesn't. Which of these would benefit the most from a video? Our survey every year shows that bloggers who do video are the most likely to report strong results, but only 1 in 4 are doing it. So ask yourself, where do your videos perform best? Are they on your site or YouTube? This was unanswerable before, now you'll know. Do you have other high bounce rate, low time on pages that could use videos? Now you know. And is there a way to improve the play rate of those videos? Maybe you can improve the video thumbnails, put a face on them, add a headline. You get the idea. So in the end, I want to my final takeaway for you guys is to try to get you to jump over this little line. It's not imaginary. There's an actual, almost physical line in Google Analytics. It's that line right there. I'm serious. Click on the right side of that line to be a better Google Analytics pro, to be a data-driven marketer, to find deeper insights. You're really not doing analysis if you're only clicking on the left side of that line. You've got to click on the right side of that line or else you're not going to get any value. Beginners click over there and they're jumping in the ocean and splashing and they're not going any direction, right? Your insights are not going to jump out and hit you in the face. Advanced users create segments, which we did. They create secondary dimensions, which we did. They use advanced filters, which we did. They drill down, which we did. They use all the things we just did. I just did everything I used every major feature in analytics just now. So that's all I'm doing, right? That's exactly the game. Experts actually get their data out of analytics. They don't even use this UX. They pull it out and they analyze it in Tableau or Data Studio or Google Sheets or something. So bottom line, guys, please click on the right side of this line to be a better marketer. And next time you're on LinkedIn, look me up if you want to connect with me. You're all welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. But while you're in there, set up analytics as a skill. Come on, this is the major difference between what hiring managers want and what candidates have. It's the major difference between the good and the great. It's the major difference between what teams have and what they need. Right. This is go add that to your skills. Endorse the person next to you, and give your career a nudge. There's the book. Everything's in the book.